Are you ready for some tough questions?
You're gonna be fair.
I'm gonna be fair.
Just be fair.
But last time, I remember you saying to me, bring it on, bring it on.
No, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for fairness, that's all.
You're gonna get fairness, but you're okay with some tough questions.
No, I'm not.
You're not okay with tough
Well,
questions?
I'm gonna be fair. You don't ask Biden tough questions.
Me?
Huh?
I don't even.
It's terrible.
I
It's
don't
terrible.
even you.
You know that. Okay, are you ready?
Everybody ready?
We're out.
Okay. Can I start?
Let's go 1 second.
Plus the door higher up, I'll lift just a little drop. Should be fine.
Am I okay?
You're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
everyone ready? So we have the pandemic. On your watch, we've had racial strife, we've had looting. Why do you want this job? Why do you want to be president again?
Because we've done a great job and it's not finished yet. And when I finish, this country will be in a position like it hasn't been maybe ever. The economy is already roaring back and other people aren't going to bring it back. Certainly the person that we're dealing with is not going to bring it back. They're going to raise taxes. They're going to take away your Second Amendment. They're going to do things that nobody would even believe. It's radical. There's never been anything like it. No,
Let me
we
ask
are
you-
we are positioned like never before. We're going to have a fantastic year next year.
Let me ask you what you think your, the biggest domestic priority is for you right now.
Well,
Or next
ultimately, let me, and I'll tell you, it was happening. We created the greatest economy in the history of our country, and the other side
You
was
know
coming
that, you
in.
know that's not true.
It is totally true.
No.
Best unemployment numbers, best employment numbers, 160 million people working, highest stock market price. You wouldn't say that to Biden, what you just said to me. If he had it, you would never say that to Biden. We had the best stock market price ever, and we're getting close to that price again. We had the best, everything was the best. Our companies were doing better than they've ever done before. You cannot even think about talking about that.
Well, I'm not gonna fact check you, you know.
Well, you don't have to
I'm
fact
not
check
gonna
me.
do
I
that.
mean, excuse
But-
me,
but-
the stock market was at its highest. The unemployment numbers for African Americans, for Asian Americans, for Hispanic Americans, for everybody were the best. Every number, virtually every number was the best. We had the best economy ever. And what was happening is things were coming
Well,
together.
I asked you what your single biggest
Well, no, what
priority was.
I'm going to say that.
Oh.
And the other side was starting to call, let's get together. There was going to be unity. And then we got hit with the plague, and we had to do it again. And we closed it up, and I saved millions of lives we saved. And now the economy is growing again at record numbers, 11.4 million people employed in the last short
But
period
what's
of
the
time.
priority? I mean, those are all the good things. What do
The
you
priority
have to
now
solve?
is to get back to normal, get back to where we were, to have the economy rage and be great with jobs and everybody be happy. And that's where we're going, and that's where we're heading.
And who is our biggest foreign adversary?
I would say China, they're an adversary, they're a competitor, they're a foe in many ways, but they're an adversary. I think what happened was disgraceful, should never have happened. They should never have allowed this plague to get out of China and go throughout the world, 188 countries, should never have happened.
So there, so.
Leslie, 1 second, please.
What's wrong?
The flag is wobbling, I think, because it's under a vent perhaps behind you, Tom.
His hair's coming down a little bit.
It's going to be getting it, right?
It doesn't look nice blowing.
No, it's distracting.
Oh, really?
I can see it.
Yes, for the arrow. I think we're better, guys.
I'm going with or without you
It's not
guys.
moving.
No,
Let's
it's
go.
not. Okay, at this stage, 4 years ago, you were behind in the polls, you were now, and you pulled it out. But this time, you have kind of a double migraine. You have unemployment claims going up, you have COVID cases going up. I mean, it's like the gods have suddenly decided to conspire against
I
you.
don't think so at all, no. I think
Well,
we've done a
what
great
about
job
this?
with COVID.
Yeah,
And
but
we've
the
hired,
numbers are going up.
excuse
so-
me, 11.4 million people. Why? Because the last report was just a little bit off. And this is
No.
without,
Sir, excuse me, cases are up in about 40 states.
okay, you know why cases are up also? Because we do more testing. If we didn't do testing, cases would be way
Yeah,
down.
but why are you saying they're not up? You know, Pete, you're saying things that people can see.
No, what I'm saying to you, Lesley, is the following. We do more testing than any country in the world by far. Second is India with 1.5 billion people. We do more testing. If we did half the testing, we'd have half the cases. If we did no testing, like many countries, we would have very few cases. Because we do so much testing, the fake news media loves to say cases are up. The fact is, we've done a very, very good job.
Cases are up?
We have done, that's right, because we're doing so much testing.
Cases, will you at least say cases are up?
Yes, cases are up
Okay.
because we are doing tremendous testing and we're finding where there's a problem. Testing is a good thing, but it's also very misleading.
When you're out there saying we've turned the corner, this thing is disappearing,
That's
and
right, we
people
have turned
can
the corner.
see,
We have turned the
people
corner.
can see cases going up all over in the Midwest, in the Mountain West. Record numbers of
We have
cases
turned
in
the
some
corner.
states.
We understand the disease. We understand the elderly, and we're taking care of them at a level like nobody's ever taken care of the elderly, especially the elderly with diabetes problems, heart problems. We are taking care of them like nobody's ever taken care of them. We also understand youth, 99.9%. As an example, Barron had it, and it was gone in no time. It was just like, he had it, it was gone, hardly knew he even had it. So we are taking care of our people, but we've done a great job with the ventilators, with the equipment, with stocking governors that were not stocked. We've made a lot of governors look very good that shouldn't look good, and that's okay with me.
Okay, let me ask you something about suburban women.
Yeah.
You said the other day to suburban women, will you please like me, please?
Oh, I didn't
please?"
say that. You know, that's so misleading the way I say jokingly, suburban women, you should love me because I'm giving you security and I got rid of the worst regulation. See, the way you said that
Yeah,
is why people think of you and everyone else as fake news. I said kiddingly, suburban women, you should love me. I got rid of a regulation
You
that
said,
would bring
quote,
low-income housing into suburbia that would destroy suburbia. And I said that in a joking way. The way you have it, it's like, oh, like I'm begging. I'm kidding. Play it, and I'm kidding. That is such a misleading question, Lesley.
but you're behind the suburban women in the polls.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I really doubt it.
One of the
I'm
things,
saving suburbia. He's going to destroy suburbia. He's got a regulation which I terminated that he would put back, and even worse, that will bring low-income housing projects into suburbia. And women understand that, and they've really learned about it over the last 2-3 weeks. I terminated the worst regulation you could possibly have. It's gone. And suburban women appreciate it. They want security, they want safety. Look, I've been endorsed by almost every police department, almost every law enforcement group in the country. He's been endorsed by almost nobody. Suburban women want security.
but the polls show that you're behind with them, and one of the reasons, let me
You're
say
not looking
this,
at recent polls.
one of the reasons is that they don't feel you're being upfront about the pandemic. And when you
So-
say there are fewer, we're rounding the corner, and
We
you
are
tell
rounding
Bob
the corner.
Woodward that
We
you
are rounding the
deliberately like to downplay this.
We are rounding the
Are
corner.
you
We're rounding the
deliberately
corner, we're
downplaying it?
doing well. We're doing well, we understand the disease. I saved millions of people, 2.2 million people were supposed to die. You go back and you look at your models, 2.2 million people. We saved tremendous numbers of people. Plus, I closed it very early from China, heavily infected, and even from Europe, heavily infected. We've done a good job. We've done maybe a great job. What we haven't done a good job on is convincing people like you, because you're really quite impossible to convince, but that's okay. And the economy now is coming back, and it's coming back very strongly. And people see that, Lesley.
There are more unemployment claims, and the economy has kind of
Lesley, we just
stalled.
picked up 11.4 million jobs. It's the largest number in
What
the
about
history
these
of our country in a
unemployment
short period
claims
of
going
time.
up? I mean, how do
Lesley,
you ignore
you didn't
that?
hear me. We just picked up 11.4 million jobs. It's in a short period of time. It's the largest number in the history of our country.
But are you denying that the unemployment claims have gone up? Is that
What
what
I'm saying is,
happened?
we got hit by something, not my fault, not
No,
your fault.
no.
We got hit from something that came out of China. I got stuck with it. And let me tell you, before it happened, we were doing so good, and now we're going to be doing, and we are doing good. But
Well-
look at as an example, last week, a few days ago, Gallup did a poll. 56% of the people said that they're better off now during a pandemic than they were during Obama and Biden. 56%. It was a record number, right?
Yes, but I want to know if you're, what, ignoring the fact that there are unemployment claims?
No, I don't ignore it.
Okay, well, what are you saying about
What
it?
I'm saying is that we got hit with somebody. It's not our fault. We
I
got
know,
hit.
but what
And
if-
we've done a good job, not a good job, we've done a great job. Remember that number, a very important number. 56% say they're happier now than they were 4 years ago under Biden and Obama, right? I'll put his name first. Biden and Obama. And they didn't have a pandemic, although Biden did have a big problem with H1N1, which he says in reverse, with the H1N1 swine flu, and it was a disaster. And his own chief of staff said it was a total disaster. They didn't know what they were doing.
Can we go back for 1 second to the pandemic? Because you called Dr. Fauci and other health officials idiots. And I'm
Dr.
wondering-
Fauci,
I'm
where did I
wondering
call
if you
where did I
think-
call him an idiot?
I'm wondering if you
Where did I
think
call him an idiot?
You called them idiots. I wonder if you
Well, he's been
think-
wrong a lot. I like him, but he's
I
been wrong a lot.
wonder if you think that masks don't work. Is
Well,
that
Dr.
what
Fauci
you're
originally
saying?
said, it's a very
But
complex
what do you
subject.
say? Do you say
Let me
masks
just tell you,
don't
you
work?
mentioned Dr. Fauci said, don't wear masks. Then he said, wear them.
What do you
I
think?
say that I feel masks possibly work. But certainly you want to stay away a certain distance, socially distance, etc. But I would say a mask works, and I have nothing against masks, and I tell people to wear masks. I have no
Tell me
problem.
then about these rallies you've been having.
A lot of people are
When
wearing
people-
masks, and they're
A lot of people
outside.
aren't. I'm watching all these people jammed in together, and I'm seeing most of them without masks. And I'm wondering the message that you're sending with these pictures coming across.
Take a look.
the-
Yesterday, we were in Arizona, record-setting rallies, numbers of people like nobody's seen before.
When
Many,
you
many
used to have
masks. I
bigger
watched.
rallies.
What?
You used to have bigger rallies.
No, these are much bigger than I ever
I
had.
don't want to bigger over
You
that.
know,
Tell me
you're
about
so
the mask
negative,
wear.
you're so negative. These are the biggest rallies we've ever had. You just come in here with that negative attitude. These are the biggest rallies we've ever had. We are having numbers like we've never had.
Tell me about the
There is
masks.
more, excuse me, no, but you made a statement. There's more enthusiasm right now for us than we ever had before, ever. And you will see that in a short period of time.
But what about the masks?
A lot of people are wearing masks. I mean, I looked yesterday, a lot of people were, and it's outdoor. They want it outdoor, and we're doing it
But
outdoor.
I can't believe after what happened in the Rose Garden here, after the announcement, with all the people getting sick, that you are not being more strongly encouraging about wearing masks at your
I
rallies.
tell people to wear
But you
masks.
don't.
Leslie, we hand out thousands of
But
masks.
you
at
look
every
out and
rally.
you're not wearing them, and you don't say, please put on
Well,
your
have you
mask.
been looking yesterday? Take a look yesterday in Arizona. Everybody behind me
But
had a
I'm
mask.
looking at other places. I'm looking at Wisconsin, which is a hot spot right
Right,
now.
right. A lot of people had
A lot
masks.
of people
And it was
without masks.
outside.
And you don't get up there and say, look, you know,
Okay.
come on.
Go
I
ahead.
don't want you to
What's
get
your next
sick.
question, Leslie? We're outside. The rallies are bigger than they've ever been. There's more enthusiasm than we've ever had. There has never been anything like what you're witnessing now, and you'll see that soon.
Okay, but I'm asking about masks, not about the size of your rallies. I'm asking why
You
you want to say.
commented on the size of the
I know,
rally.
but
You
I'm
said they're not as
asking-
big as they used to be, and I'm telling you they're much bigger.
Okay, but I'm asking you now about the masks. Why aren't you getting up there and saying, I had it, I don't want you to get it, so please
Leslie,
put your mask on?
we hand out masks to everybody that comes to the rally. We tell them to wear the masks.
You don't, and they love you.
Oh, I
and
don't
they-
know, Leslie. I
If
tell
they
them wear
heard you
them.
say it,
I have no problem, no
they
problem.
love you, they would
Next
pay
question, go
attention
ahead,
to
go ahead.
anything you said.
Uh,
Okay,
I hope you're right. Go ahead.
okay. This is important. Okay, I'll ask you another health question, okay?
Okay.
You promised that there was gonna be a new health package, healthcare plan.
Yeah,
You said that it was gonna be great, you said it's ready, it's gonna be
It will
ready,
be.
it's all ready. It'll be here in 2 weeks, it's gonna be like nothing you've ever seen before, and of course, we haven't seen it. So why didn't you develop a health plan?
it is developed, it is fully developed, it's going to be announced very
When?
soon when we see what
Say that
happens with
over and
Obamacare,
over.
which is not good. And when we see what happens with Obamacare.
But if the Supreme Court,
And it will be much less expensive than Obamacare, which is a disaster, and it will take care of people with pre-existing conditions.
but your plan was to repeal and replace, and if the Supreme Court finishes Obamacare, there will be all these people stranded,
No,
because there's no
we will make
replacement.
a deal, and we will have a great healthcare plan
But you keep
with
saying that.
less expensive, and a much better plan.
Why haven't you seen it?
You have seen it. I've been putting out pieces all over the place, and we actually have plans. And we have 180 million people right now have a plan. And you haven't been watching. You haven't been watching.
But what about the pre-existing, people with pre-existing conditions? If the Supreme
Are
Court.
protected. Will be totally protected.
How?
They'll be protected,
How?
Leslie. I mean, the people with
How?
pre-existing conditions are going to be
How?
protected, as they are now.
How?
In any plan we do,
But there
they will
isn't.
be protected. Leslie, people with pre-existing conditions will be always protected, always.
But if the Supreme Court ends this, with Obamacare,
Well, we'll have to see what happens. It's got a ways to go. I mean, we'll see what happens. I think it'll end, I hope that they end it. It'll be so good if they
And
end
if
it.
they end it,
Because we
will-
will come up with a plan, which
Will.
will be yeah, we will.
but you said it would already.
We have large sections of it already done. And we've already come up with plans. Take a look at your various secretaries, various plans that we've already come up with. And also, you know, a large part of this country has private health insurance.
Yes.
180 million people. And under that, Biden, he doesn't have any clue, but under that, 180 million people will lose their health care. And they'll go to socialized medicine, and that's not going to be acceptable.
Okay.
180 million people, Leslie, will go to socialized medicine. It
And-
won't be, it will not be acceptable.
And if the Affordable Care Act is determined to be unconstitutional.
Then we're gonna have a new,
whatever,
and we're gonna have new, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be very good, and
Yeah,
it's
but
gonna.
you keep saying that and don't show it to us. And so people with pre-existing
We've come up with
conditions-
many plans, Leslie, and we have, they're already in existence. I'll tell you what, after this interview, I will show you short-term, longer-term, I'll show you different plans. We've come up with many plans. And we cut the individual mandate out. You know, the individual mandate is gone. That was the worst part of Obamacare, that's gone.
Okay, all of that, I grant you, all of that. But if there's no plan, a replacement plan.
Right.
And the Supreme Court says that Obamacare goes away, people with pre-existing conditions will be stranded.
No.
And that's just a fact.
It's wrong. It's
No.
wrong. A new plan will happen.
But will.
And we won't do anything, will and is. We won't do anything and no plan unless we have pre-existing conditions covered. And the individual mandate, which you don't want to mention, was terminated. It was terminated. Individual mandate was terminated. That is the biggest thing that's happened. And that actually makes Obamacare not Obamacare. Because under that, you would pay a fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. We got it terminated through the legislature, signed, done. That means Obamacare is no longer Obamacare. We got rid of the most important element of Obamacare, and it was the worst element of Obamacare that nobody wanted, nobody liked. So Obamacare essentially was terminated as we know it. Now we have the carcass of Obamacare.
Well, part of the
We've
carcass
managed
is
it well.
pre-existing.
Leslie, we've managed it well. You know, I had a choice to make. When we got rid of the individual mandate, nobody believed we could do that, and I did it. Right? I had a choice to make. Do I manage the remainder of whatever's left of this whole thing called Obamacare, which is no good? Do I manage it well or manage it badly? If I manage it well, politically maybe that's not
Well, then
good.
you wanna
I
leave it.
decided to manage it well.
Do you wanna leave it? I mean,
No,
for
I don't want to leave it. I want to see what
existing
happens. Here's what happens.
Well, but why
We may
not
be
leave
stuck
it?
with it if we lose in the Supreme Court, in which case we're wasting a lot of words. If we win, we will come up with and we will do that, come up with a much better health care for much less money, always protecting people with pre-existing conditions.
Are you gonna say that you didn't say this? Because I saw you say this.
Go ahead.
on television.
No, you're really trying to. I wish you would interview Joe Biden like you interview me. It would be so good. You know what?
You like this, I thought. I thought you
I don't
liked
mind it. I don't mind it. But when I watch him walk out of a store, he's in the midst of a scandal. His family is corrupt. Okay, he's corrupt. He's a corrupt politician, and he's walking with an ice cream. And the question the media asks him, "What kind of ice cream? What flavor ice cream do you have?" And he's in the midst of a scandal.
He's not.
And he's taking, of course he is,
No,
Lesley.
come on.
Of course he is.
You
See
know, they
that?
had the Senate
So
committee,
you're like
Republicans.
big tech. You're protecting him, and everyone is, except for
Yeah, but you're taking something that was investigated
Leslie,
by a
let me ask
Republican
you.
committee.
You think it's
and-
okay for the mayor of Moscow's wife to give him millions and millions of dollars, $3.5 million, to give his family $3.5? Do you think it's okay for Hunter Biden to say that we're giving the big guy 10% of this massive amount of money they're taking in? Do you think it's okay for all of these horrible things that you've seen where they're getting hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, where China gives them $1.5 billion to manage the family, $1.5 billion, and then he's supposed to negotiate? Let me tell you, it's the second biggest scandal.
So-
The biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
There's
Leslie.
no real evidence of that.
Of course there is. It's
No.
all over the place. Leslie,
Sir.
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't
No,
verify.
you won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't
Look,
put
let me tell
on
you.
things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my
Well, we
campaign.
can't
It's been
verify.
totally verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And then they went much further than that, and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie, and you know that, but you just don't want to put it on the air.
As a matter of fact, I don't know that.
Okay,
And you're out
so
there.
why don't you get back to your interview and let's go.
We'll go. All right. So you said in the briefing room, nobody likes me. It can only be my personality.
I said that jokingly. That is sarcastic. Nobody likes me. It must be my personality. I say it all the time. Nobody likes me. It must be my personality. I say it all the time, Lesley.
Do you think that your tweets and your name calling are turning people off?
No, I think I wouldn't be here if I didn't have social media because the media is
The name
corrupt.
call.
In my
Let's talk
opinion,
about-
the media is corrupt. But,
You know,
but
you
the
told-
media is fake. And frankly, if I didn't have social media, I'd have no way of getting out my voice.
You know what you told me a long time ago when I asked why you keep saying fake with the
Yeah.
media?
Yeah.
You said to me, I say that because I need to discredit you so that when you say negative things about me, no one will believe
I
you.
don't have to discredit you.
But that's what you
You've
told me.
discredited yourself.
You told me that.
Leslie, you've discredited yourself. When you say that you're not gonna cover Biden, you're gonna ask him what flavor ice cream he has, okay?
That's not
Instead
me.
of, why did Hunter get $3.5 million from Moscow? Instead of, why is an energy company paying your son $183,000 a month or whatever they're paying him, and he has no experience in energy? You know, you discredit yourself. I don't have to discredit you.
So this story about Hunter and his laptop, some repair shop found it. The source is Steve Bannon and Rudy Giuliani.
I don't know anything about
And
that.
you're
I just know it's a
making-
laptop,
and
and they
you're-
haven't.
And you're making this one of the hottest, most important issues in your rallies.
I don't know about the two gentlemen you
This is
mentioned.
the most important issue in the country.
It's a
right
very
now.
important issue to find out whether or not a man's corrupt who's running for president, who's accepted money from China and from Ukraine and from Russia.
All these
Yeah, I think
things
that's
have
an
been
important issue.
investigated and
It's
discredited.
incredible the way you can try and say this and sit there and look me in the eye and say it.
A Republican
He accepted money,
committee-
his family, from Russia, from Ukraine, from China, and from other places.
and a
His
Republican-
brother, who didn't have experience, became a big builder in Iraq without experience. Take a look at what's going on, Lesley, and then you say how that shouldn't be discussed.
I'm saying,
It's the biggest scandal out there, Lesley.
and you think it's the biggest issue to campaign on.
I think it's one of the biggest scandals I've ever seen, and you don't cover it.
Biggest-
You want to talk about,
Well, because it can't be verified.
you want to
I'm
talk about
telling you.
insignificant things.
I'm telling you.
Of course it can be verified. Excuse me,
We
they found the
cannot-
laptop, Lesley,
It can't be
Lesley.
verified.
What can't be verified?
The laptop,
Why do you say that?
Because
Even the
it's
family
verified.
hasn't, the family on the laptop, he's gone into hiding. For 5 days, he's gone into hiding.
he's preparing for your debate.
Oh, it's taken him 5 days to prepare? I doubt it. I doubt it. Okay,
All
go
right.
ahead.
So let's get back to the name calling, okay? And whether you think it's turning people off.
No, I
Because
think, look, it is
you
what
call
it is.
Biden stupid
Where are we sitting now? Where are we sitting?
in the Roosevelt Room
Of what?
of the White House.
That's right. How did I get here? How did I get here? We're in the White House.
But what are you saying? Oh, but by name calling, you think that
No,
that's
not by name
appealing?
calling, by, doing the right thing. And we have a great record. I mean, we got hit by a pandemic, wasn't my fault. But it was China's fault. But Lesley,
The reason-
we're in the White House. The press is very biased, very, very biased. And I'm not talking
You're
about
trying
name
to
calling. I'm talking
discredit
about,
us.
no,
Yes.
no, I'm not. You're discrediting yourself, Lesley.
No, you are.
Leslie, you're discrediting yourself. When you don't go after Biden, with
Why
the
are you
corruption in the
asking me
Biden
about
family,
going after Biden? You've asked me 5,
when
6,
you
7
don't, when
times.
you don't go after what happened in the Russia witch hunt, which turned out to be a total phony with no collusion whatsoever. When you don't do that, you discredit yourself. The press, is highly discredited right now. You do know that. So you discredit yourself.
Half, I don't even know where to go here. Half the country loves you, but the other half doesn't. And I'm wondering why you don't.
They were starting to, Leslie, when the economy was just prior to the plague, they were starting to really we were all starting to like each other. It was coming together. There was going to be a lot of
I've heard you say
unification.
that before, and I don't think that we're coming
And I'm just
together.
telling you.
I think we've had disunity.
People were calling me,
Unfortunately.
people were calling me about coming together. And then we got hit by the plague, and now we're rebuilding it again, and it's going well.
And do you think that you do anything to unify the country?
I do. I think I do unify the country. I think I will unify the country. It's called success. When our country becomes,
What
again,
about the rabid partisanship in the country? Do you take any responsibility for the country being divided against itself? Do you feel that?
I'd like not to, but, perhaps everybody has to take a little responsibility for it. But when people put out phony witch hunts, when they spy on your campaign, you have to fight back. And if you don't fight back, you're not sitting here very long. You go back home. You go back home to mommy.
I've been listening to you, I don't know how long we've been here, and it's just attack.
I don't think so. I mean, look, it's not attack.
It is.
It's defense. It's defense
No, I-
against attacks.
No, you've been attacked,
It's defense against attacks.
you're very aggressive.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't view it that way. I'm defending myself, and I'm defending the institution of the presidency. Very important thing.
Can you?
Hi, Mike. Are you having a good time, Mike, watching? You know Mike, right? Our great vice president.
I do.
Do you think she'd ask questions like this of,
Wow, you
I don't
did
think
all
so.
that.
You think she'd ask questions like this of Joe? I don't think so.
Can you characterize your supporters? Can you
Yeah, I think I can. People that love our country. And people that don't want to see the stores get looted and burned down, and people that don't want to see riots, and they don't want to see anarchists. Yeah, I think I can. These are
And
people that love our country,
Do you make,
and they don't like to see,
but you don't seem.
they don't
to-
like to see policemen get shot and not be able to defend themselves. They don't like to see rioting in the middle of Fifth Avenue or in the middle of other streets in Portland or other places. And they like it when their president gets the endorsement of virtually every police group and frankly, almost everybody having to do with law and order. Positive law and order. But you know what they are? They're people that love our country more than anything else, and they like to see our country thrive.
But do you think that when you hold rallies and encourage people to say, lock her up? the way you-
I don't encourage them, they say it.
And you would
Hillary
do it.
Clinton,
You
let
don't
me
say
just tell
don't
you,
do
Hillary
that.
Clinton she deleted 33,000 emails after she got a subpoena from the United States Congress.
Why
No,
does
that's
that-
illegal.
I know, but why?
Now,
I'm
why
not-
somebody
I
doesn't
don't
do
know.
something
But
about
why
it?
is this still an issue? Why do
I think
people,
it's an
they're
issue.
not gonna vote
To
on
me, it's
that.
an issue.
She ran last time.
Excuse me, when they say lock up, it's not me. They say it. It starts, it
You
ends up
encourage
being,
it.
I don't encourage it.
Yes.
No, if I mention her name about something, they go crazy.
Well, what about the governor of Michigan, who had this plot that people were gonna, I think.
I don't know anything
your
about the
supporter-
plot, but I can tell you
I'm
this.
telling you about the
It was
plot.
our Justice Department that is the one that's helping her.
Yeah.
My Justice Department, if you call it that.
Yeah.
It was our Justice Department that's helping her. And, you know, people aren't so, they're not liking her so much because she's got everybody locked down. Now, we just won a Supreme Court where it's unconstitutional. The only one she doesn't have locked down is her husband, who went sailing and did things that he wasn't supposed to be doing.
You are very powerful, and the people who love you with passion. And if you go after somebody the way you've been going after her,
I
they
haven't
take it
gone
to
after her.
heart, and then there
I
are
know.
plots and threats, and the
I
same
haven't
with
gone after
Dr.
her.
You did?
I've helped her. It was
You
our
did go
Justice
after her.
Department
You
that's
criticized
helping
her.
her. Oh, I do criticize her, yeah.
Well,
I
that's
think the
going
way she
after her.
locked down Michigan is a disgrace.
But
The
when
way
you-
she closed churches in Michigan is a disgrace. I think it's disgraceful, what she's done. I do.
You wanna lock her
And
up?
by the way, that's other, of course not. That's other governors also. They happen to be Democrats, and they've closed up their states, and they're causing a lot of problems with these lockdowns. Suicide, drugs, alcohol, a lot of bad things are happening, and they should open up their states. Carefully, but they should open up
Well,
their
when
states.
you say open up, you don't say carefully, you say open up. You don't have
Oh, I say
an
carefully.
aggressive program to say open up with masks, open up with social distancing.
The
You
governors
say
run
open
their
up.
states.
No,
We
but
help
the
them a lot,
message
but the
was
governors
you.
run their states.
You are.
And the governors have to do what they have to do.
But you-
But when they lock down Michigan, she's doing a tremendous disservice.
Well, what about
Same thing
you
with
saying-
Pennsylvania,
what
same
if-
thing with North Carolina.
What about
These
you
are
saying-
Democrat governors, and they're doing a great disservice.
What about you saying, let's open up, but let's wear masks. Let's
Well,
open
I
up.
say-
You don't.
I say, I'm not against masks at all.
But you're not
I
for
say,
them.
sure I am, wear them. But I also say socially distance. I say all the things. But you know what? Well, look, with you, nothing I said would be any good, Leslie.
That's not
okay?
true, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. But in the
That's not
meantime,
true.
we're having a record comeback because if you look, we're the fastest growing nation in the world after this pandemic, by far. And we sunk less than any other nation, relatively speaking. And we're coming back very strong, very, very strong.
So you don't want to lock up Governor Whitmer, but you want
When
to
did I
lock
say
up
lock her up? I
the
never said.
Bidens, you want to lock
Wait
up
a minute, when did I say
Obama.
lock her up? When did I say lock up the governor? I didn't say lock up the governor.
All right, but you.
Why would I lock her up? No, but
wanna-
why did you say you don't want to lock up the governor? Of course I don't want to lock her up. Why would I lock her up?
Because you were in front of a rally of people saying it, encouraging it.
I never said it, Leslie. I never said lock
So you
up the
don't want
governor.
to lock up the governor.
Lesley, it's such a vicious thing you just said. I never said lock up the governor of Michigan. I would never say that.
Well, did you-
Why would I say that?
Well, what
Because
about the Bidens?
she's doing
Do
lockdowns.
you want to lock up the Bidens?
No, I don't want to lock them up,
What
but they
about
certainly
Obama?
should be looked at.
Obama? You want to lock up Obama?
No, I don't want to lock him up, but he spied on my campaign.
Do you want to lock up
Obama
Kennedy?
and Biden spied on my campaign. Do you know what that is? Do you know what they did? Do you know how horrible it is what they did?
But
You
it's
don't-
never
you don't
been
get it.
verified.
It's been totally verified,
No,
Leslie.
I'm sorry.
You'll find out, but it's been totally verified.
You've all but said that Attorney General Barr should go after President Obama. If you lose, you will be here, okay? You lose. How would you feel if then President Biden went after you?
Oh, he probably will, because I think he's a very dishonest guy. And he probably will look for something, probably will, we'll see. But you know what? Attorney General Barr has been very nice, that's all I can tell you. He's been very nice. He's been very respectful.
Criticized him.
He's been very, no, I didn't criticize him, it's just a different personality. They're very lucky, they're very lucky, because the evidence is overwhelming. And Attorney General Barr is a great gentleman, it's a great gentleman. They are very lucky. Now, I can't tell you what's gonna happen, I don't know,
I know.
because I purposely like to stay out of it. You know what? I don't like to get involved, I can if I want, but I don't like to get involved. But I think they've been very, very lucky. Attorney General Barr is a gentleman.
You know, I didn't want to have this kind of.
Of course you did.
No, I didn't.
Of course you did.
No, I didn't.
Well, then you brought up a lot of subjects that
Well, I said
were
I'm gonna ask
inappropriately
you
brought
tough
up.
questions.
They were inappropriately
But-
brought up, right from the beginning. No, your first question was, this is going to be tough questions. Well,
It
when you
is.
set up the interview, your first statement
You're
was,
president. Don't you
Excuse me,
think you
no,
should
no,
be
no.
accountable to the
listen,
American people?
your first statement to me, this is going to be tough questions. Well, I don't mind that. But when you set up the interview, you didn't say that. You said, oh, let's have a lovely interview. And here's what I do say.
So why?
You don't ask Joe Biden. I saw your interview with Joe, the interview with
I
Joe
never
Biden.
did a Joe
It was a
Biden
joke.
interview.
The interview, 60 Minutes. I see Joe Biden giving softball after softball. I've seen all of his interviews. He's never been asked a question that's hard.
Okay, but forget him for a minute.
No, but you
You're
start with
president.
me.
You're president. and-
Excuse me, Lesley, you started with me. Your first statement was, are you ready for tough questions?
I did.
That's no way to talk. No way to talk.
Lesley, one second, this is the first warning, I think we have 5 minutes until we have the vice president step in, is that about right?
Well, I think we have enough, really, we have enough of
So I think we're
it.
ready for the vice president now.
I think we have enough of an interview here. Okay, that's enough. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go meet for 2 seconds, okay? Thanks. I'll see you later. Thanks.